Welcome to the Explainer. Look, I want to talk to you directly today, just worker to worker. I left school at 16 with absolutely zero qualifications. I literally started out at the very bottom, swinging a hammer, just trying to make a living. But today, I've built real financial independence. And honestly, it wasn't magic, and it sure wasn't luck. It happened because I finally recognized 7 very specific, very dangerous traps that keep hardworking, everyday folks completely broke. So let's look at how to avoid them. Okay, let's dive into this. I really want you to ask yourself right now, are you actually chasing real generational wealth, or are you just chasing the appearance of it? Because let's be honest, it is incredibly easy to get caught up in looking successful rather than, well, actually being successful. When I was in my early 20s, a mentor of mine dropped this exact quote on me, and man, it completely shifted my whole perspective. At the time, I was just a humble carpenter's apprentice trying to scrape by, right? But this advice became the absolute foundation of my journey to financial freedom. If you don't want to be like everyone else, you have to make the sacrifices others aren't willing to make. You just can't follow the herd and expect to end up at a different destination. So today, we're breaking this whole wealth building journey down into 5 core phases: rethinking work and equity, the illusion of luxury, leveraging teams and tools, filtering inputs and ego, and finally, accountability and comfort zones. All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, rethinking work and equity. The absolute biggest trap everyday workers fall into right out of the gate is working solely for that immediate, comfortable paycheck. Now, what's really interesting about this is the choice between these two paths. Think about path A. It gives you a high early wage, your friends think you're absolutely killing it, but your potential, it quickly hits a ceiling. Then you have path B. This offers lower early pay, heck, you might even struggle to pay the bills at first, but you're acquiring high-value skills with unlimited potential. I actually had 5 job offers right out of school, but I picked the carpenter's apprenticeship. The pay was pretty terrible, to be honest, but I prioritized those hands-on, valuable skills over a high starting wage. That mindset shift right there, that moves you from just earning an income to earning equity. And equity is just simply owning a percentage of a business. Then there's sweat equity, which is earning that share by bringing exceptional skills and real value to the table. True wealth requires you to build this diverse, almost Swiss Army knife kind of skill set. Things like copywriting, coding, or video editing. You basically have to make yourself so incredibly valuable that you become worthy of earning a stake in a business rather than just clocking in and clocking out every day. Moving right along to phase 2, the illusion of luxury. Look, it is so ridiculously tempting to pretend to be rich on social media nowadays. You see people going into massive debt just to show off flashy cars or, those expensive trips to Dubai. But the reality behind those posts, it's honestly shocking. 37% of Americans cannot even afford an unexpected $400 expense. That completely shatters the whole illusion of the Lamborghini lifestyle, doesn't it? People are living a total lie, drowning in credit card debt, and literally paying off a single overpriced steak dinner for like 5 months. So the crucial point is, living like a king early on completely prevents you from actually building wealth. I mean, think about this. 60% of American households can't even afford to buy a brand new car. Trying to flex and keep up with this totally fake internet lifestyle, it just keeps you permanently broke. If you genuinely want to build a solid foundation, you absolutely have to avoid those depreciating assets. Just skip the fast cars, the designer clothes, and those $500 dinners early on. Instead, take that hard-earned, blue-collar money and invest it in appreciating assets. We're talking stocks, real estate, or crypto. Real wealth is built by letting your assets generate income for you. And then, down the line, you can use that income to buy whatever you want, absolutely debt-free. All right, phase 3, leveraging teams and tools. A major trap for a lot of hard workers is thinking you have to do everything yourself. But here's the truth. No matter how hard you work, you can never outcompete a talented group. We all love that myth of the lone genius, right? But take Elon Musk, for example. People think he built his empire entirely on his own. Actually, scratch that. He was part of the PayPal Mafia, this incredibly powerful group of collaborative minds who relied heavily on each other to achieve massive success. They later went on to launch companies like YouTube, LinkedIn, and SpaceX. You need a collaborative network to really level up. But hey, what if you aren't trying to launch a billion-dollar tech company? What if you're an everyday worker just looking for a really solid side hustle? Well, you can build an incredibly lucrative business simply by helping older, maybe non-tech savvy business owners modernize their operations. Just by helping them manage teams online, handle invoices, track their projects, or build modern websites using all-in-one tools like Odoo, you basically bring their traditional businesses right into the 21st century. It's a massive, very realistic opportunity to leverage these tools for major profit. Now for phase 4, filtering inputs and ego. Listen, the danger of cognitive overload, and frankly, just plain arrogance, will completely blind you to life-changing opportunities. When literally everyone is telling you what to do, your friends, your family, random people online, your brain just gets overwhelmed and you suffer from major decision paralysis. So here is the blueprint to fix that. Step 1, start at your end destination. Step 2, work backward from there. Step 3, seek targeted advice from experts who have actually achieved what you want. And finally, ruthlessly filter out all those other general opinions. You should only be listening to high-quality inputs that align perfectly with your specific goals. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why ego is so incredibly destructive. Think of the iceberg principle. What you currently know is just the tiny tip of the iceberg, right? But that massive chunk of true knowledge, that lies deep beneath the surface. Ego is a silent wealth killer. It convinces you you're just too smart to learn the small, everyday steps required for real greatness. True wealth absolutely requires the humility to accept just how much you still have to learn. And that brings us to our final phase, phase 5, accountability and comfort zones. We really have to tackle those internal, psychological barriers that trap so many average workers in a completely static life. I absolutely love this Chinese proverb because it cuts right to the core of making excuses. Listen to this. The man who blames others has a long way to go. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has already arrived. It is so easy to blame the system or your boss or the economy for your lack of wealth. But as long as you're pointing the finger at everyone else, your journey is going to be incredibly long and painful. Let's move to and see how this builds into a choice you literally have to make every single morning. It's the choice between the magnifying glass and the mirror. The magnifying glass has you hyper-focusing on the faults of everyone around you. But the mirror forces you to focus entirely on your own controllable actions and thoughts. To build real wealth, you have to take radical accountability. You got to pick up that mirror every single day. Because if you don't take that accountability and step out of your routine, you end up trapped. Look at this stat. 55% of Brits never leave their comfort zone, and yet 45% of them worry they're eventually going to regret it. Staying static, avoiding all risk, and just clinging to those safe, traditional paths, it basically creates a self-imposed prison. You absolutely have to push beyond your current boundaries. So, I want to leave you with this final, critical thought to chew on. Has your current comfort zone become a self-imposed prison? Because if you truly want to change your financial destiny, you just cannot stay static. It's time to break out, take the necessary risks, expand your boundaries, and start your real journey toward grounded, lasting wealth. You've got this.